Welcome back to the Retro Sports Gamer channel. It's your man Green Magic, coming back at you with the series Jam Rules with Green Magic. So far in the series, we've played through 3 Jam games on console: NBA Jam Original on Genesis, NBA Jam Original on Super Nintendo, and also NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo. So today we're coming at you with NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Sega Genesis. This is the version of the game that most tournaments are played in. So you really want to listen up and make sure you get the knowledge for you. Today we're going to be playing through. We're going to start the playthrough here, and I'm going to be using the top 10 teams in the game. And as I do it, I'm going to break down the teams, how I feel like where their strengths and weaknesses are, and how I would use them in a tournament format and stuff like that. So we're going to get started here. First of all, for the settings, you want to turn that tournament mode on. It's gonna take off some of that computer handicap there. You want to turn the tag mode on. That means you can be both players at the same time. You pass to one and he catches the ball, and that's who you control. Had to make sure I used a sign-in name that I haven't used yet, because we want to start at the beginning. And we're going to lock in our name here so that we play each team consecutively in this playthrough. I'm going to go TOR for Toronto. There is a couple Jam tournaments in Toronto in September. I'll be there with some of my buddies from Chicago. Name of the tournament is King of 94. There will be NHL 94 tournaments for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, as well as NBA Jam Tournament Edition tournaments for both of those consoles. So in this playthrough, I'm going to be using all the teams in the game consecutively, starting with the teams that I believe are the best, and going on through the rest of them. So the team that I feel like is the best, the strongest in this game, is the Houston Rockets. The Rockets get some of the best attributes in the game. You see Hakeem Olajuwon with his 8-speed 9 power, 9 dunks, 9 blocks, very fast, very quick and powerful. He's not going to be doing a lot of shooting. But anywhere relatively close to the rim, he has a threat of scoring. Robert Horry, another one of the best players in the game. 7 speed, 8 power, very quick and powerful. He does have that 3-point threat ability with the 6. 3-pointers are difficult to land in this version of the game, but when a guy has a 6, he's capable of making him, especially if he gets on fire. Robert Horry, above average attributes on everything. And then we have Otis Thorpe, the decent 5-speed 7 power. Good offensive attributes and some average defensive attributes. What's up, Deontay Jenkins? I see you in the chat. Thanks for joining, buddy. Hope you're ready to watch some Jam. Just started this playthrough here. We're going to kick it off with the Rockets. And I think my strategy is going to be lock it in with Olajuwon and Thorpe. Try to accrue a lot of injuries onto the computer. Second half, bring in Robert Horry, and hopefully he'll rail a lot of threes for me. So here we go. Going against the Mavericks. Obviously not a very strong team, but Jamal Mashburn is a pretty good player. He's got some speed and power. So they're not a complete pushover. Other players on the team: Jim Jackson, not too formidable. Terry Davis, not very good attributes at all. And there you see Mashburn doing me dirty already there, showing that deep range threat. Oh, big brick for Olajuwon. Jackson from deep too. Guess I got to deny them that three-pointer. Olajuwon forcing the turnover with a little layup. Getting it done. Heating up, you want to get on fire. You want to score that 3 buckets in a row. Woo! But they blocked me, even though it did the dunk sound. Mavericks 3 for 3 from long range. I couldn't let him have that one after scoring 3 threes in a row. Olajuwon with a powerful dunk. Very hard to block someone who's that powerful and has that high dunk attribute. He is capable of bricking those dunks, and you've already seen me brick 2 of them. There's that fire. Hopefully I can get a couple threes before the end of the quarter here. Obviously you can goaltend when you get on fire, one of the perks. But the threes aren't automatic. It's got a little lead, not too much. Mavericks definitely working it with the deep game, as they are wont to do. I was able to give them some injuries, so Jackson is going to be pretty slow. You can't see it because of my icon is in the way, but he has 11 injuries. So he's going to be pretty slow. Terry Davis getting on the board with the deep threat. Otis Thorpe with a drone block, helping out a brother. Ooh. Tried to push him from behind, didn't work. They're able to finish. Woo, nice block by Terry Davis. Terry Davis, a very poor player in the game, does have a block attribute, though. Mavericks really taking it to me. Another block by Davis. Able to get one block, but couldn't finish off the job. Mavericks neck and neck with me. Ooh, nice team passing by the Mavericks. They're sticking in this one. From the corner, wasn't feeling confident, decided to let it fly. Sometimes you get those threes from random places like that. I guess not really random. The corner is one of the spots that you can try the threes from. Threes very hard to make in this game. Now we can bring out Robert Horry. I'm laying the heat on these Mavericks, but They keep scoring on me. So Mashburn, it says he has 0 injuries. Actually, injuries do not reset in this version of the game. So Mashburn is actually coming in with 8 or so injuries, whatever he accrued in the first quarter. And so you're going to see him. See, he's not all that fast. That's one of the spot you can rip a 3 from, just kind of like just past the break there. Mavericks can't put the ball on the rim. That's going to be a shot clock violation. Robert Horry scooping up that steal. Rattling it in. Robert Horry getting the lucky bounce. And we're on fire. Olajuwon looking super fast compared to the other guys because he's not accrued any injuries yet. Or he knocks that down, no problem. Oh! That second shot, Robert Horry over the defenders, rails it. Rockets going in the fourth quarter with a pretty big lead. As you can see, Mashburn, 25 injuries. Obviously, he didn't accrue those all in the fourth quarter. Some of those carried over from the first quarter. Horry making another 3. You just see how slow the Mavericks are, because this is the fourth quarter. They've just accrued so many injuries. What's up, Mike B? I see you in the chat. Welcome to the stream. I just started a playthrough of NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Sega Genesis. Starting, gonna play with all the teams and starting with the best ones. So that's why I'm the Rockets. I think they're the best team in the game. Robert Horry and Hakeem Olajuwon. Obviously, this was the height of their title runs, circa '94. Mavericks looking so slow because they've accrued so many injuries. Still a little tough to push over sometimes. Oh, dunking it over me. So I see what you're saying. Do the accrued injuries make this game better? I think it gives this version of the game more depth than NBA Jam. But I also feel like just having a third player that you can sub in adds a lot of depth compared to the original game. Now, this version of the game, NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Genesis, there's an injury bug, which means that injuries that you occur once in a game carry over to the next game, or next quarter, I mean. Injuries you accrue in one quarter carry over to the next. So Mashburn got subbed out in the first period. He came in the third period, and he still had 8 or so injuries, even though it said 0. In that regard, that doesn't happen in the Super Nintendo version, and in that regard, that's an argument for why that version has more depth. Also, three-pointers are easier to make in that version of the game. James Bond saying, I grew up on the Sega original version, but the Super Nintendo and Saturn versions are the best. I think there are a lot of people that would agree with that. The Super Nintendo version on original, I find to be really difficult, and I find that it makes you brick too many dunks because there's that rubber band AI going on, and that's a little frustrating. That said, it can be kind of fun to like work against that and still try to beat the computer by a lot. Sega Saturn version I've only played a few times, and it's really fun. It's really arcadey. It reminds me a lot of the arcade cabinet, and I can see why people would really enjoy that version of the game. It also has slightly different rosters because it came out a little bit later. So some trades that were done in like the 94-95 NBA season are accounted for. Doing TOR for Toronto. We're locking that in. There's going to be a couple tournaments in Toronto in September at King of 94. Some NBA Jam tournaments that I'll be playing in with some of my buddies. So that's what TOR is. So I played as the Rockets. We did our Olajuwon and Robert Horry thing. Second best team in the game, I feel like, is the San Antonio Spurs. We've got Dennis Rodman, one of the best players in the game. David Robinson, a very good player as well. Sean Elliott, kind of middle of the road. He does have that 6-on-3-pointers, so he has a bit of an outside threat. First half, I'm going to lock it in with Rodman, Elliott, and then second half, bring in David Robinson. Adam, ATB9, saying he can't buy a bucket. That's right. James Bond saying, do you watch Shady J Show? I do not. You'll have to tell me what that's about. Is that like a cable show or Netflix, or what's going on with that? Ooh, Ryder Duncan on Elliott. Robinson might have blocked that. Ryder playing stiff D as well, but here comes Dennis. Dennis with that speed to cover the full court. Ooh. Dennis getting that steal. He's got that high dunk power, that speed. Very efficient on offense. Dennis getting that fire early. Of course, you can goaltend when you're on fire, so that's what Dennis is all about. Even Dennis can rail it with his 2 3-point ability. Ooh, Sean getting the drone steal, helping out a brother. Ooh. Nice little drone pushover by Isaiah Ryder. Even though I was on fire, I could have goaltended that shot. Ooh. Nice drone block by Elliott. Timberwolves making a bit of a comeback. Woo, stiff D by Dennis there. Mike B saying Sega CD version is interesting. Could be one of the better versions with this gameplay. I have heard about that version, and that's different. Adam saying, good luck. Appreciate that. James Bond saying, they live stream retro every night. And they always end up having epic NBA Jam games. They always play Super Nintendo version. I'll definitely check that out because most of the time we see people playing this version, which is great. I enjoy it. But Super Nintendo version is very refreshing. Has more depth, like I said. The injury bug isn't effective, so a player gets subbed out. They come back onto the court and they're refreshed. Three-pointers are easier to make. There are a lot of things in that make the Super Nintendo version a little bit different, as well as visually looking a little bit different. Mike B saying, or Infamous Smoke saying, what's up, Green Magic? What's up, dude? Good to see you late. We just had the Retro Sports Gamer monthly with Tom and Mort, and I decided we got talking about games so much, I was like, I got to get my my Jam Rules with Green Magic on. So that's what we're doing. Doing a playthrough. Already whooped the Mavs with the Rockets, and now we're going Spurs on Timberwolves. Mike B saying, are you going to the Toronto tournament? I am. It's going to be myself, DPS, who is often on the channel, the Retro Sports Gamer channel. A great NBA Jam player, also very good at the NHL games. And Morta's going to try to make it as well. So we're going to have a nice little Chicago contingent. You know, I'm really trying to practice up, really trying to get hone my skills so that I can win both the Super Nintendo and the and the Sega Genesis versions, because there's both tournaments at King of '94 in Toronto. So really got to brush up on my skills, get my matchups ready, and hopefully I can get both titles. That would be really fun. But DPS is very good. He can beat me on a given day. So I gotta be able to play my best. And Doug West from Downtown railing it. He does have that 3-point attribute. Playing the computer, you gotta watch out for those long threes like that. Ooh, tried to push him before he dunked it. Didn't get there. Dennis is going to dunk on both of them all day. He's got that power. He's got that dunk attribute. He's not going to let Christian pull up for that three, though. Oh, no. That's a heartbreaker. I was heating up. They scored. That ruined my chain. On the last shot of the quarter, you can goaltend it for free, and that's what I was trying to do, but I didn't have good clock management. Infamous Smoke saying I watched that earlier. I was playing NBA Hang Time during that string. That's cool. That's a great game. I like the Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 versions of Hang Time. Definitely want to do a series, video series of that game sometime. I think they're really great. Really nice depth. Obviously, it's in the Jam mold, but slightly different. Woo! Nice little spinaroo by David Robinson. Mike B saying flying there, long trip. I do assume we're going to be flying often. We ride with Mort to these tournaments in his van, but it might be too long of a trip for that. It is, way over there, obviously. Nice drone steal by Dennis. You see me shooting from that same spot a lot. That just That seems to be one of the spots that just has the best chance of landing. Um, Also, I from the corner work sometimes too. Uh, Ooh, nice rejection there by Isaiah Ryder. He's got some defensive attributes. Ooh, Dennis helping me out. Doug West was playing some aggressive elbow in the key offense. Ooh, trying to do the elbows, but I took care of that. David Robinson. Um, Mike B saying, "Did you move to Chicago just to play retro sports games? Solid move." Certainly. We're trying to make it the retro sports video game capital of the U.S. or something. I mean, that's where Midway was originated. Midway, who made NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, Mortal Kombat, other games. I just enjoy how it's kind of central to a lot of places. You know, we're going to Cleveland later in the year. It's not a crazy drive from Cleveland. Some of my buddies are going to Cincinnati for Tecmo, for Midwest Tecmo Classic in a couple weeks, and you know it's not a terrible drive. And Christian Laettner didn't want to give up the ball. I pushed him about 30 times. But I dunked on his face, so it's all good. Sometimes I try to push them right before they pass to the drone. Woo! I had to push him about 20 times that time. Not too bad. Oh, that was dirty. Leitner pushed me over so I couldn't get back there. That's teamwork. So that's the Spurs for you. It really does come down to Rodman and Robinson being excellent players. Um, they both got speed and power. Rodman a little bit more than Robinson, um, and they both got blocks too. So, and Dennis has got a high steal attribute. I think it's at a 7. So, Spurs very formidable. I would choose them over quite a few teams. Definitely in tier 1 there with the Rockets. Next team, we're going to go on to the Charlotte Hornets. Definitely a tier 1 team in my estimation. Um, you know, if someone said they were the best team, I would be like, that's a great point. They're great with Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson. Muggsy Bogues obviously not giving you a lot of power, but he's got that speed. He's got that he's got that speed. He's got a elite steal attribute. He's a really good drone. Um, 2 power, not much, but you can get some shoves off with them. I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to go Johnson Morning as much as I can until one of them gets banged up a little bit. Then I'll sub in Muggsy. But usually in this version of the game, I like to save a fresh guy for the second half. Because like I said, injuries do not reset. So you want at least one guy that can kind of move around at his own will. Whew. Kind of expecting him to make that. Usually the computer's pretty high percentage on their 3-point shots early in the game. Like that one leg there. It wasn't a 3, but it was deep. Johnson dunking on both members of the Heat. He's got that high dunk rating and power. So you know he's nice drone block by Morning. And that's kind of why I wanted him in as my drone in the first half. Really so he could kind of dominate and just help me out there. Johnson going to try to get it started here. Shooting it over the 2 Heat players. Morning quick on the draw. Morning gets back. Larry Johnson, so tough to stop. Definitely one of the best players in the game. Even a little bit more dominant in the Super Nintendo version. I had a feeling they're going to rail that one. Woo! He gets the last word on that one. Not a high percentage shot, obviously full court underhanded, but sometimes they give it to you. Larry Johnson accruing some injuries. I'm going to put him on the pine. We're going to go Morning Bogues. So Johnson does have those 4 injuries for the rest of the game, unfortunately. Ooh, they said rejected, but it was not. Stiff D by Alonzo Mourning. You really got to watch your opponent's body language sometimes and get them when they're waking up. Alonzo is good from the outside. Lonzo using that fire capability to goaltend. Woo! Right through my hand, I was there. Sometimes they let you catch those in the air, sometimes they do not. Nice block by the Heat. Whoa! That was funny. I bricked the dunk and it hit the rim again. Nice hook shot there. That is a very high percentage shot, actually, as random as it looks. Hook shots all day long. Thought I could knock that one away before you went in. I was heating up, so those are critical. When you're heating up, you really want to try to get that third bucket. They are hard to get, but they're great when you get them. Morning, thankfully, only one injury. I think it's time to put in Johnson again as my drone. He does have the 4 injuries, like I said. They do not reset. So Morning has 1, Johnson has 4. So I should be pretty much faster than my opponents. They should, with all the injuries they have accrued, I should be able to just zip on by them like that. And that's often how the second half goes. So if you're playing this game competitively, you do want to watch out for that, how the injury bug affects your strategy. If you're playing 2 guys that are beat up in the second half, it's, you know, there's only so many places to hide. Thought I was still on fire. You acted like it. Nice pull up for the jumper. Trying to get that last little chuck there with the fire. You're seeing Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson have a lot of success against the Heat here because they have such low power. So often it just takes 1 or 2 shoves and they'll cough up the ball. So the Heat, some people think they're a pretty good team because they have such high attributes, including Glenn Rice with his high 3-point attribute. But all things considered, they really are about an average team because they don't have that power. So that's just something you got to watch out for. You certainly don't want that to be the Heat and coming against one of these teams, one of these tier 1 teams with such high power attributes. Actually getting a little close to the record here, so I'm focusing up, just seeing if I can do it. I want to say the record's like 105 or something. '90s, not the record, but it's way better than I usually do. And like I said, um, it was easy to rack up that score on the Heat. They just don't got that power. They have that speed to begin with, but then you knock them back for a couple quarters. They accrue those injuries. They get really slow. Um, 42 steals for Alonzo, not bad. 19 3 points. It's really good, especially in this version of the game. So Hornets heating up, pun intended. Hornets definitely in Tier 1. One of the best teams in the game. You can see that second half was just ugly, 59-0. Always feels good to smoke the computer, clean them out in one half. So it's the top three teams. And in my estimation, Rockets, Spurs, and Hornets are just above everybody else. But also in Tier 1, we got the Orlando Magic. Even though they don't got Shaq because of licensing issues, they still rank out as one of the best teams in this game. You got your pretty quick power guy, Horace Grant. Low steal, low threes, but he does got that dunk and block, so he's really effective by the rim. Penny Hardaway, one of the fastest players in the game. Only a 2 power, but he does have that 8-3, so he can get open sometimes. 7 steals, so he's a pretty decent defender. We got Nick Anderson with some really good attributes all the way around. That 9, 3, and 7 speed can come in handy. 8 steal and 6 power go to pretty well together. So just you got 3 absolutely solid players, and if you can if you can put it together, they are just a really formidable bunch. But so are the Bullets. Honestly, Bullets a Tier 2 team. Chris Webber, one of the best players in the game. And honestly, Calbert Chaney is not terribly different than Penny. He's maybe an 8 on speed instead of 9, but Calbert is pretty similar. A major difference would be that the third guy for the Bullets is Scott Skiles, who actually used to play on the Magic. And the third guy for the Magic is Nick Anderson. So he's a really good player. Skiles is, fast, a decent drone, but doesn't bring a whole lot as a user. And the Bullets really quick, just whipping around me. It's a little tough to adjust to a fresh squad after I've been playing a team that's crawling around with so many injuries. Woo, great defense by the Magic, if I do say so myself. Grant being on fire. So he can make it even though he's got that low 3-point ability. Webber with a nice move to the hole. Man, Calbert Chaney. Really quick. I wasn't feeling good about that play because even though I was able to block it, I knew he was going right back to Webber. And that's just kind of bad luck, honestly. Nice little elbow trick by Chris Webber. The computer really comes after you hard at the end of the quarter. Last 8 seconds or so, they really get juiced. And I was trying to get around them to get one last shot off, and they caught up to me. And they got me good. So we're going to go same skis. Grant really holding it down with the power game. Weber has 11 injuries, so he's going to be a lot easier to track down for the rest of the game. Scott Skiles is going to be whipping around, but he does have that low power. So hopefully if I do get a hold of him, he can cough the ball up. The horse getting on fire early doesn't bode well for the Bullets. Man, and sometimes they do it. You're on fire, and you think your timing is good, but it's not. And that was nice team play there. Chris Webber, despite having all those injuries, was able to swoop in and push me over so that Skiles could give him the ball for the score. Ooh, Skiles playing that stiff D. Ooh, smoking him out. Horace Grant and company. Nice shot by Weber. Wasn't quite in position to push him, so we got the shot off. I wasn't too worried about it because of all the injuries he had, but, you know, computers can kind of score if they really want to. And the Magic holding firm at the end of the first half. Good second quarter by the Bullets. Scott Skiles doing his best. You see him there with that black Magic jersey. Similarly, Horace Grant has that red and white Bulls jersey. So sometimes the player pictures have a little bit of outdated info, but real quick, funny thing, Penny Hardaway, Chris Webber drafted for the opposite teams you see them playing on. We're actually traded, I don't know if it's on draft day or soon after, but it's kind of another fun crossover from these two teams. Actually, I take it back. It was the Warriors and the Magic that Warriors drafted Penny, Magic drafted Chris Webber, and they were traded close to draft day. So now we can bust out some Nick Anderson. Going to keep in Grant for that heavy lifting, but Anderson should be much faster than our opponents. He should be able to rail some threes, dunk some dunks, and do it up. That's the problem with the Bullets. When Weber's not in, there's just not much power to go around. Scott with 1 power attribute and Calvert with 2. So even though Nick Anderson isn't a a high power player. He still can shove them around pretty good, especially on fire. Horace Grant helped me out with that push there. And Nick Anderson, you see that speed. He's able to get between both players there. And he is really rolling, really lighting it up in this second quarter. Going to take that dunk, going to get back for the block. And they nail it anyway. That's a little too far, I guess. That is really hard to time sometimes. Sometimes I'll pull my player up a little bit away from the hoop there and hope he's able to block it in the air. That's too bad. I was heating up, but not anymore. Chris Webber's back. He's got that power, but he's going to be slow from 2 quarters of taking a pounding. Forgot I was on fire there for a second. Forgot that I had the infinite turbo. Sometimes I just let that 3 rip when I pick up the ball. Woo! That's a big dunk by Mr. Anderson. Hello, Finish Him 91. Welcome to the chat. We're playing some NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Sega Genesis. Doing a little playthrough, showing the tips and tricks that I've found over the last year and a half of playing and competing in some tournaments. Doing a full playthrough of the game. I'm playing with the best teams first. So I'm playing with the Magic. I put them at about 4th overall. And so we just knocked the pants off the bullets. Finish Him is saying, NBA Jam Old School is awesome for Super Nintendo. Have you ever played? I have. If I'm real, I enjoyed that version a little bit more because I feel like it has a little bit more depth than this version. As fun as this one is, it's too tough to hit 3-pointers in my opinion. And there's an injury bug, which means that once you accrue an injury, you have it for the whole game, and that's why you see Chris Webber and Chaney with that 25 injury. Well, I guess they would have had those anyway. But Super Nintendo, they you sub them out and they get refreshed and they come back in. Easier to hit a 3-pointer and things like that. Easier to get blocks sometimes. So I actually I'm doing a video series called Jam Rules with Green Magic. That's my screen name, Green Magic, and I'm playing through these console jam games and giving my tips and opinions of it. Um, and Oh, are you talking about a specific version? You're talking about NBA Jam Old School, a particular version of the game. I see what you're saying. For Super Nintendo, included Jordan and Peyton. I haven't played that one, but the original NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo, I played quite a bit. Um, and in this video series, actually, that's the game that I played beforehand. It was a hack. I see what you're saying. Sounds like you can play that with an emulator or maybe on Steam or something like that. Um, that would be pretty cool. Do you remember what they rated Jordan? Like, was he 9 on everything, or? I mean, Gary Payton is in the NBA Jam Tournament Edition versions. He's right there on Seattle for both Super Nintendo and Genesis. Um, but yeah, I know in the original NBA Jams he was not. There's a reason why he wasn't in it. So I'm playing through this game as all the teams going from best to worst. So I've been the Rockets, the Spurs, and the Hornets. I feel like they're the top 3 teams. Then I was the Magic. I feel like they're about 4th overall, or in Tier 1, as you might say. The other team that I feel like is in Tier 1, actually in Genesis version, I would say they start Tier 2, and that's the Atlanta Hawks. People don't think about the Hawks a whole lot, especially after they traded away Dominic Wilkins. They don't think of them as having much star power, but Kevin Willis in this game has got some great attributes. 6 speed, 9 power, just like Horace Grant. He's got some 3-3-pointer, which isn't great, but he's more of a dunk block kind of guy. 0 steal, which is kind of a funny attribute. Mookie Blaylock, he's fast, and for a short guy, he's got 5 power, which is pretty good. It's a pretty good drone. Not as much 3-point ability as you would want with a short, fast guy. But he is more of a drone for you. Then you got Stacey Augmon with that 8 speed, 7 power, which is really good in this version of the game. 7-3-7 dunk, so he's just ferocious on offense, and then he's pretty good at defense as well. So you kind of got your big guy, your small drone and Blaylock, and then you got Augmon, who can kind of do a little bit of everything. So I'm going to play Willis in the first half, try to put some heat on these Sixers, try to deal him some injuries so that Augmon can come in the second half and really clean it up with his 3-point ability. Playing some stiff D. It's the Hawks. Tier 2. Finish him is saying on Tournament Edition, I like Charlotte. In Hang Time, I like Charlotte. Yeah, I guess in Hang Time they probably got Glenn Rice at that point, and maybe some Vlade Divac, maybe some Del Curry. Forget exactly what their rosters were. Especially because there are a couple versions of Hang Time, and they slightly different in the rosters, obviously. The 64 version of Hang Time, obviously having the rookies from '96, players like Stephon Marbury, Steve Nash, most notably Kobe Bryant. So that's kind of why the 64 version really is kind of a gem. Obviously, and they're going to have more creative player feature. Kevin Willis just deciding to go for that 3, even though he's not a 3-baller. He was on that play. Ooh, Sean Bradley getting by me. I wasn't able to push him. Nice push by Blaylock, finishing off the job. Nice passes by the 76ers. I just couldn't get enough of my shove on to stop them. Yeah, Tournament Edition for Super Nintendo, I really like Charlotte. I think they might be the best team in that version of the game. Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning, really super dominant. Larry just able to dunk from anywhere. They both got nice block attributes. And they're decent at three-pointers. I believe they're both like a 5 on three-pointer. So definitely deadly once they get on fire. Sometimes you just got to be patient, smoke them out. Kevin Willis really surprising me by railing these threes. A lot of times the powerful, low 3-point guys don't have so much success, even on fire. But I'm making it happen. That's nice. Still getting those threes even when it's not on fire. Willis really, he really is an underappreciated player in this game. Even though he's going to miss shots like that, he really is ferocious on defense. And when it comes to dunks, he see if I can have enough time to get back here. Woo! Got the rebound. So finishing 91 saying, it would have been nice if those games back then had team logos on the courts. NBA Showtime on NBC was the first, I think. Yeah, that's a really nice touch. It's just like memory that they decided to budget elsewhere. So that makes sense. But it is really nice touch when those newer games have those like personalized attributes like that. So Blaylock, 9 injuries, but that's okay because here comes Augman, and now Willis can be my drone. He can be the muscle, and Stacey Augman gonna go ham. When he's done bricking this dunk, he's gonna go ham. Willis getting a nice drone steal. Both these guys on the Sixers are going to be pretty beat up at this point. That's why they're slow. And I am not, because Stacey Augman is fresh. And that's why you want to save that guy for the second half. Ideally, it's your best guy, but, someone with some speed in particular is going to be very deadly. Augman railing that 3. Always kind of surprising when I nail a 3 in this version of the game. Finally, I get the ball. He was stuck in the corner there. Another brick by Augman. He may be fresh, but he's not against bricking some dunks. Deep 2, says Kitzrow. I thought it was a 3. Too bad. Gave up those points. Woo! Finisham91 saying, "What is your favorite code?" As in cheat code. You know, back in the day, for Super Nintendo Tournament Edition, I really enjoyed the mascots. Like Hugo the Hornet was one of my favorites for sure. You know, Sun's Gorilla was super fun. I think Benny the Bull was in some versions. Those were my favorite. It was fun to bust out random people like I guess nowadays I would say it's the Beastie Boys. I think it's pretty hilarious that they made it into the game. Like MCA, Adrock, and Mike D are all unlockable players. In the original console version, it's fun to bust out some of the creators, like Mark Trammell is the main creator and designer of the game, and his character has like really long hair, and it's pretty funny. You know, it looks a lot different than these basketball players who half of them are like shaved bald. You know, he just got so much hair. High flying dunk by Stacey Augman. You're saying you like the Mortal Kombat characters? I think that was a lot of people's favorite. That was only in the arcade version though, because NBA decided against it when it came to home console. You know, Mortal Kombat being a mature game and all that, they had to dial it back. They didn't want to fall over. They didn't want to. Yeah, I mean, you're saying Fresh Prince and the Presidents. I don't think I did Bill Clinton too many times. For some reason, I remember doing Hillary Clinton several times. I just thought it was funny that you had this, like, she looked like a little girl going for these monster dunks with that long hair. That was always pretty funny. So there was definitely some good additions. Big beatdown on the 76ers, 97. So that's getting pretty close to the record. I'm going to have to, because I'm getting close, I'm going to have to refresh myself on what the record is. These wouldn't count as world record runs because you have to show the booting up of the system and that sort of thing. And I didn't do that. I didn't worry about that. We're not really going for world records tonight. But I'm still curious. I'm gonna take a look. Going to twingalaxies.com. That's kind of the main governing body of world records for retro video games and some newer ones, but it's mostly retro games. It's Stuff that you wouldn't play online unless it was on an emulator or something like that. So the biggest blowout for single player on this version, NBA Jam Tournament Edition for Sega Genesis. I just saw it. What was it? It was 105, I believe. Sounds about 8 points off. Not bad. Not bad. I'll do better next time. Hawks are in Tier 2. They're really something else. Kevin Willis with that power and decent speed. Mookie Blaylock, a good drone with that speed and steal attribute. And then Stacey Augmon just can do it all. And just like he did in that second half, came in and really crushed it. So we're in Tier 2 here. I would say next would be one of the fan favorite teams for this game, the Seattle SuperSonics. Obviously, Sean Kemp, fantastic player, given a very high dunk rating, good block rating, speed and power, which are most significant. And then actually we got Detlef Schrempf, who he's got not great speed, but he's got some power. Serviceable on offense as well as defense, but it really is about that 8 power that makes the Sonics really formidable. And then we got Gary Payton actually not given that great of attributes. That 8 speed, 5 power is nice. You wish he had a higher 3-point ability. And he does have 7 steals, so he's a decent drone, but not very usable, as your user. So I'm going to lock it in with Schrempf Payton. I'm going to save Kemp for the second half. And hopefully he just, gets it done in the second half. Spud Webb rattling in from downtown. Mitch Richmond, a very good player in this game. He's got speed, power, and 3-point ability. He's very vicious triangle of attributes. A lot of times when I'm going for rebounds, I just kind of scoop it off the ground because I find it hard to time a rebound to where it goes into my hand and doesn't just bounce off them or something like that. So I usually scoop it off the ground also because I'm waiting to see if Schrempf really getting it done here on defense. I'm also waiting to see if someone else is going for the rebound so I can box them out, aka shove them. Woo, slipped it through me. I guess I was too far away. I've been missing a lot of those in this playthrough. Missing a lot of attempted goaltends. I'm going to have to button that up. Ooh, Spud Webb getting the best of me. Open 3 for Mitch Richmond, and that's what I'm talking about, the rebound, just scooping that up off the hardwood. It's really tempting to jump. Very intuitive to do so, but it's just not as effective as you'd like it to be. And there's that unlucky block that goes right to the drone there. And Schrempf getting a nice shove on both of the players. Schrempf, not a lot of speed, but you see what I'm talking about with that power. As he's shoving them, oops, didn't get back, and Richmond makes me pay. That's a rookie mistake right there. You see what I'm saying with that power? Schrempf is able to bounce between players and knock them back and get those turnovers, which is what you need to win. Shrimp with that power, it goes in. It translates into the dunking game as well, as he's able to just blast his way through there. Uh, 2 blocks. So even though he didn't catch it, at least he didn't go to the my opponent, so he could get an easy score. That was bad luck. I got a nice almost turnover with Shrimpy, but then or with my drone Peyton, but he got caught up in the trash, and ball got stolen from him. Really nice first half here from the Sonics. And nicely timed by Shrimp, rocking that last 3 with no time left. Richmond already maxed out on injuries, so he's going to be putty for the rest of the game. And Shrimp doing good work. People think Sonics, people think Sean Kemp, and rightly so. But, Deadlift Shrimp, if you can use that power to your advantage, Sonics really a force to be reckoned with. Maybe not taking on Tier 1 teams, but definitely there's a reason why I have them so high in Tier 2. Woo! And that's the spectacular dunks you get from Sean Kemp. They are nice to look at, but they're also really hard to block. And really hard to... Sometimes you can shove the dunker down as he's coming back down to earth. But pretty much impossible to do that on those highfalutin dunks. So really a good reason why good dunkers in this version of the game are so valuable. They're just really good scores. It's not just that it looks cool. It's very, very practical and effective. And that was some that was some poor offense by me. I just basically stole it, but then I passed it right back to him, and that won't do. Not a great last second shot there. Had I been able to pick up the ball a little quicker, I would have been able to do a hook shot the last second, and those are really high percentage. What's up, Magitech Omega? See you in the chat. Welcome to this late stream. Jam Rules with Green Magic. Getting my NBA Jam Tournament Edition Sega Genesis on. Magitech saying we need the Sonics back in the league. But I think a lot of people would agree with you. But they're the Thunder now. I don't know if that's something that the NBA is seriously considering. I don't know if they're in the market for new franchises. I don't follow it particularly well. I do know that they kind of restructured the divisions recently, and it seems like they got a number. I guess it's 30 teams overall that works for them. Get it, Shrimp! Get it, Shrimpy! And you saw me go for that rebound there, and I biffed it. And that's why I like to get those rebounds off the hardwood. Okay, I'm just going to attack from anywhere. That's game. I didn't really beat him up in the fourth period like I had planned on. Only an 85-point blowout, which is good, but especially after that excellent first half, I really expected a better turnout, but I just couldn't keep him from scoring. Magitech Omega saying, expansion as of yet isn't on the table. Clippers move rumors are swirling if their solo stadium ambitions fail. See what you're saying. Clippers seem to be in a decent spot as a franchise. I mean, I guess I'm just basing it on 1 year. They barely slipped in to the playoffs as an 8th seed in the West, but they had a good record, and obviously impressed a lot of people with their first round playoff run. I mean, it was one and done, but no one expected them to take 2 games from the Warriors. That's for dang sure. But I guess they did get rid of some of their stars from what I heard recently. I don't know. A friend told me that the way that the salary cap is done nowadays, it really makes it easy for players to move around and form these dynamic duos that we talk about. So I don't know where the Clippers are at. Maybe they don't got any stars right now. We're 6 games into this playthrough. We're in Tier 2, which began with the Hawks, then went Sonics, and now we're going to play with another one of the most popular teams in the game, the New York Knicks. I put them as the 3rd best team in Tier 2, so about 7th overall or so. Patrick Ewing, definitely one of the best players in the game with that 7 speed, 8 power. 9 dunks, can land it from just about anywhere. 9 blocks, he can defend the hoop. Matt Stanky, what's up, dude? We're talking about some New York Knicks, an NBA shove, baby. We're talking about New York Knicks with some Ewing and Oakley. Oakley, like Shrimp, not too fast, but he's got that 9 power. And he does have that 8 block, so he can also defend the rim. Some people put Knicks in Tier 1. That's cool. To me, they just don't have all the goods that a Tier 1 team needs. Johnny Starks with that 8 speed, only 2 power though, really hurts him. 8 threes, so he can rail sometimes. And then 7 dunks, so he's inside outside kind of player, and just not too many defensive stats. So we're gonna go Ewing Oakley for the first half. Let's save Starks for the second half and see if he can get his 3 ball on. Ewing with that quick scoring move. That's that dunk attribute coming into effect. But Mutombo has that dunk attribute too. He blew by me to the hole. That's why you got to not give up that inside lane. Ooh, Nuggets moving the ball around nice and quick. I wasn't able to get my shoves off. And when you miss those shoves, then obviously those players are still on their feet. I missed about 30 shoves there. But I got the ball, finally. Patrick Ewing bricking the easy jumper. Not so easy for him. Over the shoulder. Ooh, and that's what you get out of a Charles Oakley. He doesn't have that speed, but he is that power and block attribute. So sometimes as the drone, he will give you those. He'll give you those turnovers like that, which are really nice. Got to shoot the ball, buddy. Patrick Ewing just using that fire. Woo! And I almost gave up that last shot, but a little excellent green magic shove love under the hoop. And hopefully I gave him a bunch of injuries. Mutombo only 7 injuries. That's not enough. We're going to have to... Knicks actually accruing 0 injuries. It's time to bring the heat to the Nuggets. Oh, I forgot I was on fire. I was afraid it was going to be a goaltend, but it wasn't. Ewing railing those threes like his name is John Starks. Oakley getting that offensive rebound, much appreciated. Ellis with the mid-range jumper. Ewing going to continue those scoring moves. Mutombo from downtown, like his name is Abdul Rauf. Ooh, nice move by Mutombo. Somehow he got out around all of my shoves. I couldn't knock him off his block, so Ewing dunking on both of the Nuggets. Ellis using Mutombo as a screen there. Really not letting me get on fire. And that's why I can't run away with this one. I'm going to get that free goaltend, though, at the end every time, so... I think we'll put in some John Starks. We want that 3-point attribute to show up here. Ellis should be really slow with that 15 injury. Abdul-Rauf, not sure exactly where he's at, but... Starks getting it done. Tough to time those sometimes, but sometimes you know they're going for that lay-in. Stark's holding up his own against Ellis and Abdul-Rauf, who don't have the power that Mutombo have. So we'll see how we fare in the fourth period. When we got him out here. Woo, brick in the layup. And sometimes I forget how to play basketball. It happens. Woo! Looked down, I saw the clock, and I was like, it's time to shoot it. Ewing's only got 2 injuries. I want to do with power with Mutombo out there. So we're gonna put Ewing at the first slot here. It's really kind of funny how evasive the computer can be when they have 0 speed, but they still somehow shake off the shoves. Mutombo can't move, but he can rail threes. 67, not much of a beatdown, especially compared to what I was able to do with the Sonics and the Hawks. But Knicks a really good team. Ewing a great player. He's got a great supporting cast with Oakley and Starks. Oakley, the slower defender with the power and the blocks. Stark's a speedy offensive weapon with dunks and three-point attribute. So Knicks, definitely a team you see a lot in these tournaments. People sometimes even play with them against teams like the Spurs or the Hornets, who are tier one to me. But Knicks capable of playing hard, and the Nuggets just enough power that I wasn't able to like shove them over as much as I wanted to. But we're on the next team. We're in tier two. Did the Hawks, Sonics, Knicks. Now we're on to the Warriors. This is a team I really like a lot. It's got some good balance. You got one of the best players in the game, as all these teams have at least one really elite player. But Tom Gugliotta is the centerpiece of the Warriors, given some great attributes. He's got the 7-speed 8 power, which is a great baseline. He's got the double sevens for offense, and then decent defense. But it really is about that speed, power, and that offense. And you got Sprewell, who's got decent speed power, but he's got some great offensive attributes as well. And then that 8 block really comes in handy. Got Ronnie Cycli, who's pretty slow, not great power, but he's got that dunk and block, and so he is useful in that regard. So I think I'm gonna go some Cycli Sprewell. We're gonna save Gugliotta for the second half, and we're gonna see how that goes. Buck's not great power, so hopefully Cycli's able to push him around a little bit, and Gugliotta is able to come in the second half and really just kind of take over. Deep shot that the computer likes to make a lot. I was lucky that that one brick. Thought as soon as I passed that, that they were going to score that deep tray. Really not a good idea to try to pass between defenders like that. I got lazy, though. Really worth it to take a second and make sure that pass is clean. Get that out of here, it says Cycli. Cycli really playing above his stats in that quarter. He not a lot of speed, not even a lot of power, but really able to push the Bucks around. Hopefully he can do that for another quarter before we bust out Gugliotta and just put the fear of God into the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm smoking them out. Nice team D there by the Bucks, setting the screen on me. Ronnie Cycli dunking from the free throw line, showing that high dunk attribute. Another great play by the Bucks, setting the screen on me. That's really the main way that they can score. Now, Matt Stanky in the chat saying, welcome to NBA Shove. That is the way to win in this game. Shove, shove, shove. The fact that I was able to shove the Bucks so well in that first half is why I got this commanding lead here. But I'm coming at him with my best shover, Tom Gugliotta, 7 speed 8 power. Watch out. Fresh off the bench. And nice team passing. I wasn't able to shove them. They found their way to the hoop. Gugliotta returning the favor. A lot of shot clock violations for these Bucks. They don't like to shoot, apparently. Tom Gugliotta not taking over the game like I would like him to. Bucks just holding on to the ball despite not having high power. Maybe Baker with his 2 power will cough some balls up for me. You didn't that time. Murdoch with that three-point ability. All right, not quite the beatdown that I wanted on the Bucks. They are a really weak team. 80 points looks good, but I would really want more steals than that. 10 blocks though, not bad. Getting the triple double, I'll take it. That's the Warriors man for you. Really well balanced. Gugliotta, really a stud of a player in this tier 2. Spreewell can offer the he's got some speed and some blocking power, some dunks. Cycling you saw, not a lot of power, but got some dunks and blocks as well. So just a really well balanced team are the Warriors. I would take them up against just about anyone other than the top 3 teams in the game: the Rockets, Spurs, and Hornets. So we're moving on in tier 2. Tier 2 so far has been Hawks, Sonics, Knicks, Warriors. Now we go on to the Nets. Very underappreciated team, largely because people don't know about Kevin Edwards being such a solid player. He is given a short avatar status, which is a little silly. I think he was like 6'4" in real life. There's no reason to make him short, but they do. So whatever. That's Kevin Edwards we're talking about. 6 speed, 9 power is very solid. He's got that dunk ability, which is nice. Serviceable defense. Derek Coleman, one of the best players in the game. As they keep saying for this tier 2, everyone's got one of them. His 7 speed, 9 power. Really nice offensive attributes. And then the 8 block. So he does play tough under the rim. Then you got Kenny Anderson. You'd expect some better attributes from him, but he's only 2 on power, no dunks, but he does have that speed and 3-point ability, so that's nice. And he's got some steals, so he's a decent drone. So we're gonna go Edwards, Anderson, and we're gonna save Derek Coleman for the second half. I'm gonna try to impose a lot of injuries on the Pacers with the power of Kevin Edwards. So here we go. Ooh, nice follow through by Reggie Miller. I thought I had him stopped with my power under the hoop, but he kept going. He was able to score on me. Um, you saw me get that last shot was blocked. That does happen with the shorter guys sometimes. You pull up for three, and here comes some random computer player, and they're able to block you. It is something to look out for, but I still believe in Edwards. That 6 speed 9 power really is effective, and so even though he's going to get a shot here and there blocked, uh, ooh, that one was tough. Derek McKee um, winning the push battle on me, and that's why I was not available to defense that play. I did miss a shove in there, and I paid the price. NBA shove, like Matt Stanky said. You can land the shoves, you're in a great spot. If you can't, it's gonna be real tough. I knew if I just stuck with it, I'd get it eventually. Um, I got really lazy. Just tried to chuck up that last shot. Usually, when the end of the quarter like that, the computer is going to come at you hard, despite having a million injuries like you see there. Should have got out of the way, but too lazy. Kevin Edwards playing a good half. Couldn't make all the defensive stops I wanted, but here comes Derek Coleman. He really should be able to take over the game. Smits and McKee going to be pretty slow, especially Smits. And let's see if we can knock him out. Nice passing. That was a weird sequence. They happen sometimes. Nice drone D there by Kevin Edwards to finish him off. We're going to keep in Edwards, only the 3 injuries. Whew, getting a little help from my opponent. That was funny. I swear I tried to get out of the way, but sometimes crazy stuff like that happens. Uh, Besides those last 2 plays, that was a pretty good uh, fourth quarter there. Derek Coleman just playing the whole court. Got that speed, that power. We're on those threes. Had quite a few threes in that fourth quarter. Pacers just not a great team. They got some names like Miller and Smith, but they definitely a lower tier team. So that's the Nets, man. People sleep on the Nets. They're definitely tier 2. Match up with teams like the Sonics, Knicks, Warriors, Hawks. All these teams that I've been playing with recently. We got one more team in tier 2 to cover, and then that'll be the last for the night. We've already played 9 games. So I'm going to be playing as the Bullets. Chris Webber, one of the best players in the game, like I keep saying. Supporting cast, Calvert Chaney. Got some speed, 3-point ability. Scotty Skiles. Some speed, 3-point ability, and steals. So we got two really effective guards for your drones, and then Chris Webber can really do it all, including hitting the 3 from time to time. So we're going to take on the Hawks. We already covered the Hawks. They're a really good team. So hopefully I'll be able to do some damage with Chris Webber here. Just so fast are the Hawks. Look at him. Muggsy Bogues. Not Muggsy Bogues. Woogie Blaylock. Difficult to evade. Nice quick shot. I tried to cover the ground with Webb, but couldn't do it. Nice inside move by Blaylock. Blaylock really an effective drone with that speed. Tried to block Willis. Knew it wasn't a high percentage chance, but you do get some of those blocks. Always feel good when they do happen. Drone Skiles chipping in on D, getting me that steal. Mookie, so quick. So pesky. Ooh, I thought I had him beat, but Mookie going to the corner to get the three. I wasn't able to stop him. In a slim lead over the Hawks. They really are a balanced team. Hopefully Webb hasn't taken too much damage. Ouch. I am going to have to rest Weber, and actually, probably should have played in one more quarter to help bang up these guys, because sometimes these higher power players like Augman and Willis, they don't accrue an injury even when I shove them because of the power disparity. So maybe should have kept in Weber. We'll see how things shake out. Hopefully I'm still able to deal them some injuries. Tried to block Augman there. Did not go well for me. But he can block me, that's for sure. Scotty, way out of position. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? Ooh, Augman on fire. This is no good. I'm missing Weber right about now. Yeah, I've been shoving them, but it's sometimes they don't even acknowledge it. They just got too much power. Scott wanted that shot, but it's not your role, buddy. Nice steal by Cheney getting that ball back. You just see Skiles just jumping, flapping his hands. That was pretty funny. At first, Calvert didn't want to get on fire. Then he thought about it and was like, "Let's do this." Only 10-point lead. Not very impressive, especially compared to some of the other beatdowns I've given the computer. But this is kind of a tough match for the Bullets, going up against all this power. There's only so much Weber can do by himself. A little bit easier now for him to get things done because of the injuries the Hawks have sustained over the first half. Nice little drone steal there by Cheney. Ill-advised 3 by Weber. I thought I was still on fire. I can't count sometimes when it's late. Nice team play by the Hawks. Blaylock just playing keep away so quick. Tried to get a hand on it, didn't work. Blaylock playing some aggressive offense. He's clearing me out of the way. Decided to give Cheney a shot. I was like, what the heck? Let's get him involved. Despite having injuries, I'm finding that the Hawks off-ball players really having success against me. Really beating me up. Weber having quite a few injuries. Let's try Blaylock. Oh, what's up, light blue? Quad 4. NBA shove. You got it, buddy. We shoving. We loving. We smoking them out. This is the last game of the night, unfortunately, light blue. Reviewing the top 10 teams in the game. We've gone through Tier 1. Rockets, Spurs, Hornets, and Magic. Then we went to Tier 2 with the Hawks, Sonics, Knicks, Warriors, Bullets, and Nets. And we're about to wrap it up here. Scott Skiles getting back on D. Scott Skiles. Woo! Hawks really took it to me in that game. 42 points, not very impressive, but I mean, there's a reason I have them at the very top of Tier 2. They're so balanced. I just couldn't shove them off the ball, and they played some aggressive offense. And there you have it. There's the first 2 tiers of teams in NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Sega Genesis. Really fantastic game. There are various tournaments of this game. I'm going to 2 of them this year. One's in Toronto, actually. King of 94. It's having NHL 94 tournaments on Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, as well as NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, and I'll be playing in all those. That's in September. And then in November, Tecmo Jam Cleveland is Tecmo Jam. Quite a few other tournaments this year as well, but I'll be playing in the Tecmo and the Jam. So playing these videos, trying to get some knowledge out there, get people excited. Hopefully we have big turnouts for both of those tournaments. And yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap it up. It's almost 2 a.m. here Central Standard Time. So thanks for everyone who is watching. Hope you all have a good night, and check back on the channel soon.